This is kind of like a framework that I use to explain what I've come to realize is the hierarchy of importance, because there's a lot of things we know we could change in our lives. We could go hire a personal trainer and work out more. We could improve our nutrition. We could improve our sleep and our mindset. So like, where do you start? And I've made a case, and one part of the bottom part of this pyramid I'm going to build up is mindset. And I don't know if I need to go into that more than we already have. You got to get that aligned, this internal congruency that gets that burning desire for why you want to transform and really makes this greater than just a physical journey. But like, if you can bring in your family, other core values, and maybe identities that you hold, then you really have some power. The other important thing is sleep. Sleep is also foundational. I think the research is so clear. Like those that start diet and exercise plans but are not sleeping adequately enough, they lose less weight, they lose more muscle, because quite frankly, sleep just helps create this proper hormonal environment. Our brain regulates its appetite hormones like leptin, ghrelin, neuropeptide Y properly when we're sleeping. If we miss sleep, we're more insulin resistant, worse glucose control. So it's like cortisol levels are higher. So I think a lot of people need to fundamentally understand that we're circadian beings and we actually got to get that good enough. I'm not saying like perfect, but if you're at a stage right now where you know your sleep is jacked up, you're waking up a lot during the night, you have low sleep scores if you measure that, or quite frankly, you're just sleeping like 6 hours or less, then that is a huge area of improvement, because anything else we tack on top of that, more training, more nutrition changes, let alone a calorie deficit, is just going to be perceived as a greater stress for the body. Yes. And that may work for some time, but you hit the sympathetic nervous system, which is a short-term tool, but you make that your default state. The only road that leads to is burnout and infections and overtraining and injuries.
I've been there.
So like fundamentally, you just need to get that corrected.
So let's double click on two of these, mindset and then sleep. One of the things, and we discussed this on the podcast years ago, I don't recall the guest's name, but he shared that when your motivation is built around others, not just yourself, people tend to be able to work harder with their fitness goals. Not to say harder is always better, but it just makes the point that if the motivation is got to do it for me, or got to get stronger faster for my wife, for my kids, whatever, people tend to do better with that sort of communal locus of motivation rather than just the internal one.
I completely agree. We do show up. I mean, it's like, I imagine this is kind of like a gory example, but I think of this movie Hacksaw Ridge, where there was that medic who's going and like saving people. It was probably in World War II, and he just keeps on pulling people back. Like he had the motivation to go get into the line of fire, drag someone back, and drag dozens of people back, not for his own, security. You can tap into a deeper level when you're going from those places. And another thing I want to say is it's good to stack many different kinds of motivation. It is a good motivation to want to look better, to want to look in the mirror and say, damn, like I actually am proud of what I am, or I'm not afraid to take my shirt off. Like that's a good motivation, but that's only a slice. You got to build up your whole pie of all these different motivations. So the motivation, the sleep, very important.